Welcome to Glenda Blasts Your Ear Off, flash fiction stories written by Josh Busch and narrated by Glenda Villamar. Enjoy! You have 1,440 minutes in a day. Use 5 of those minutes and visit freerice.com to play trivia games and help end world hunger. freerice.com. Episode 9. 4 is better than 1. The man woke up. He opened his eyes. He couldn't rub his eyes or stretch because his arms were tied to a chair. The chair was next to a window, and on the other side was outer space and the twinkling of countless stars. "Good morning," said a woman. She was sitting in a chair next to him. "I was wondering when you were going to wake up." Then she chuckled to herself and asked, "How's your head?" The man started to respond, but what came out wasn't language, but instead a garbled mess of phlegm. He cleared his throat and said, "Yeah, my head hurts." And after a pause, said, "Why am I here? Who are you?" The woman smiled like she had been given the winning numbers to the lottery. "Your head hurts because my ship operated on your brain, and it stole your long-term memory." He stammered, "But why? What am I doing tied to a chair in the cockpit of a spaceship?" She looked away from him and said, "I'll tell you later. First, let's talk about what you're going to do for me." "This is madness," he half whimpered. "Porter, you and I are going to travel into a white hole," she said matter-of-factly, like it was as easy as changing clothes. "My name is Porter? Wait, a white hole? I've heard of a black hole, but never a white hole." She cooed at him. "Seems there's a lot you don't know. A white hole is the exact opposite of a black hole. Sisters, if you will. Everyone knows a black hole sucks objects in, but a white hole blows objects out." Porter asked, "Nothing can escape a black hole, so if a white hole is the exact opposite, does that mean nothing can enter a white hole? Isn't your little trip here doomed from the start?" "Doom. I like that word." Porter barked, "You're evil. A monster. What did I even do to deserve this?" She stood up, walked over to him, put her face 2 inches from his face, and said, "You've got it backwards. You're the evil one." She backed up, sat back down. She went on, "We won't have any problem getting into our white hole because of this." And she held up a beat-up briefcase. Porter grunted and asked, "What's in there? A black hole?" The woman said, "You got it. And I've got 3 other cases, each with their own black holes." "Why are you doing this to me?" he pleaded. "This is revenge, right?" The woman sighed heavily and said, "You took something from me." She sighed once more and said, "And you're going to get it back for me." Porter laughed and said, "In a white hole. Great. So when I get back whatever I took from you, are you going to let me go? What's your name? Does that have to be secret too?" "My name is Lavette, and you might want to look out the window. We've arrived at the white hole." The white hole was a raging river in space. The river seemed to come from nowhere. The white hole shot out an endless stream of light and gas and plasma and clumps of mashed up matter. Porter said in a quiet voice, "You want to fly into that nightmare? Why?" Lavette said, "It's the only way to travel back in time." "This is beyond insane. Are you telling me the only way to get back whatever it is I took from you, that we have to travel back in time to get it? Unbelievable. And how are your briefcase black holes supposed to help?" Lavette, sounding distracted, said, "From 4 different directions. The black holes are going to bite and claw at the white hole, pulling the river in 4 different directions. And in the middle of those 4 rivers, our doorway to the past will open." The spaceship began to buck up and down wildly, like a bull trying to throw its rider. Porter yelled, "But why? Why do we have to go to the past to get your precious item?" Fine, I'll tell you. You killed my sister, and we're going back in time to stop you from doing it." She paused. "Now you wait here while I jettison the black holes." The tied-up porter said, "Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere." But he did. The black holes did their job and tore open a gateway to the past, and the spaceship waltzed through. Porter and Levette were on the surface of a planet now. They walked on a moderately busy sidewalk. Porter stated, "The part I don't get is if you wanted vengeance, then why did you wipe away my long-term memory?" Levette answered, "It's simple, really. You, Porter, are a dangerous criminal who's quite capable of stopping me from making you do anything you don't want to do." Porter said, "Cruel, yet efficient. I don't remember any of those old skills that you're so wary of." "Cruel? Ha! That's rich coming from you." Porter complained, "But I don't even know the man I used to be. I have no recollection of the things I did. Care to enlighten me, O juggler of black holes?" They had arrived at a city park. Levette sat at a bench, and without any compulsion, Porter sat down next to his captor. 3 loud and raucous teenagers walked by, and one of them said, "Uh-oh, look at those two, trouble in paradise. Smile, you two, kiss and make up already." The kids, laughing, continued on their way, walking farther into the park. Levette glanced at Porter, looked away, and said, "You have committed hundreds of unforgivable acts. You have murdered men, women, and children. You have stolen spaceships, jewelry, art, and hijacked shipments of all kinds. You have assaulted and maimed innocents beyond reckoning in your quest for easy money." "Wow, it sounds like I am a monster," said Porter, as if he had just been told he has cancer. Levette reared on him. "Don't you dare feel sorry for yourself," Porter said in a small voice. "I don't. What I feel is regret." "You feeling regret doesn't change the fact that you killed my sister. It doesn't change that you robbed me of a life with my sister in it." Porter looked at her imploringly. "But isn't that why we're here today? To fix what I have done?" Levette stood up abruptly and said, "The younger you's about to arrive. I'm going to incapacitate him, thus preventing you from killing my sister." Porter asked, "Are you going to kill my younger self?" Levette said with barely a whisper, "You're the murderer, not me." Porter stood up too and said, "I don't understand why I'm here. But one thing I do understand is that I'm sorry for what I did to her, for what I've done to you." "You saying that doesn't change anything." Levette looked like she ate something awful and said, "But I'm glad you said it." It was then that the younger Porter appeared on the path, and he was walking in their direction. Levette snapped under her breath, "Sit back down, now, and give me your arm." And without any protest, the older Porter did as he was told. Levette put a handcuff around one of his wrists and latched him to the bench. The younger Porter was there now. The younger Porter looked at the face of the older Porter. The younger Porter looked confused. Levette pulled out a weapon and fired at the younger Porter. The younger Porter dodged out of the way, pulled out a weapon, and then Levette fired again, quickly followed by the younger Porter firing his weapon on Levette. Both went down. Both were close to the bench that the older Porter sat on. Levette didn't move. Her eyes were closed, but her chest rose and fell with breath. The older Porter bent down and took Levette's weapon. The younger Porter lay on the ground, and he held his bleeding leg. The older Porter kicked the younger Porter's weapon away from them. The younger Porter asked, "Who are you? Some uncle I've never met?" The older Porter aimed his weapon at the younger man's chest and said, "Something like that." The younger Porter raged. "What are you going to do? Kill me? Why?" The older Porter frowned heavily and said, "I'm killing you so the universe will be a better place." The older Porter fired his weapon repeatedly into the younger Porter's chest, and The end.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. We look forward to bringing you the next episode in Glenda Blasts Your Ear Off.
I just stammered on the word stammer. Blah, blah, blah. And now for a teaser from a podcast I enjoy listening to called Buttered Feet. Here is Slug and Lettuce.
Slug and lettuce are not people, but Slug and Lettuce is a living, breathing place. A place where anything is possible. Anything. Where Palm from Work can come alive to Christina Aguilera's Dirty, reminding those around her that it's dirty with 2 R's, gripping the rickety frame of the gazebo and its tangled webs of fake blossoms and fairy lights as she outshines Aguilera herself. A place where you can pay £45 for a tower of drinks, topped with an indoor firework,